Holy shit, you're so fucking terrible! If I see you dash aggressively again, I'm gonna ban you from my game and my chat. Didn't I just fucking tell you not to dash aggressively, you stupid fuck? You're fucking average and casual, and I fucking hate you.
The voice that just graced your ears belongs to a wonderful angel and God's gift to the Smite community, DMBrandon. Someone who, by the accounts of a few, is the latest to be claimed by cancel culture. But here's the gotcha. This time, cancel culture actually targets someone worthy of being canceled. Now, as usual when I do these videos, I gotta lay a foundation before I dive in. Meaning, I'm gonna go into detail regarding my feelings around cancel culture as a whole. I'll leave a timestamp up on the screen right now that you can go to if you just want to get to the meat and potatoes of the video. But I feel like a lot of what I have to say regarding the DMBrandon situation is best understood in context of cancel culture as a whole. With that being said, let's get it. Let's go. I loathe cancel culture, something I've been very vocal about lately. Some people push back with the usual cancel culture doesn't exist or no one ever really gets canceled, which I find to be a weird position to take when there are so many examples of cancel culture's existence, including but not limited to being canceled for writing about slavery in your fantasy novel while being an Asian woman instead of a black person, being a conservative gay man and wanting to speak to crowds or have book deals, being a black female singer and performing at Trump's inauguration, being a conservative white man in the comics industry, and being a white girl who recently went viral and following people on Twitter who someone else thinks are white supremacists. I'd be here all day pointing out things like this, but I think you get where I'm coming from. Now, did y'all notice something there? Cancel culture has a tendency to focus on what people are instead of what they actually do. It's less about actual crimes or moral ills, and more about perceived ills, or just being the wrong person to do something, even if that something is legit. There are very few people who have been canceled to any degree who've done anything worthy of cancellation. Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Kevin Spacey come to mind for examples like that. And if that's where people's gripe lied, I really wouldn't have a problem. Or if they had an issue with the idea that we should fully withdraw support from people and make it impossible for them to pursue their dreams or even feed themselves over trifles and perceived slights, then we'd actually be in agreement. But no, their issue seems to be that people aren't canceled forever, or that the people they personally dislike aren't canceled. And that brings us to today's main topic, DMBrandon. For the uninitiated, Diem is a staple in the online gaming community, primarily the Smite community. I used to follow him. He was actually the first Smite content creator that I got into heavily. I actually laughed at his rage moments and genuinely learned a lot from his breakdown videos that were very comprehensive when covering new god releases or just expounding on what individual gods are capable of. And then I saw the clip of him dumping on a fan who had previously been suicidal, and clips of him surrendering matches over good calls just because he didn't agree with them, and all the other DM shit that he's become infamous for. Finally, I stopped following him on everything, and that's where I've been for about a year and some change. And plenty of people were in the same boat. We've seen and heard him say some genuinely vile shit for years now, and aside from a hardcore group of stans, I really don't know of anyone who even tolerates Diem at this point. And I was fine with that. I can think someone is a third-tier human for what they say without wanting them totally gone. As mean and as toxic as his words have been, he has every right to say them provided they not cross the line into threats, harassment, or actions. Well, this past Wednesday, members of the Smite community began to expose Diem on a level that would show how he'd crossed those lines. There have been several creators, streamers, and community members to come forth with accusations against Diem. They range from verbal and sexual harassment and emotional manipulation to sexual assault and coercion. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about the accusations here, as they aren't my stories to tell, but I will link them in the descriptions below, as well as a video by Smite content creator Duke Sloth, where he goes in depth further. Now, I was ready to make this video the day everything went down, but something told me to wait. I thought, maybe he'll come clean and own up to what he did, maybe he'll deny them, maybe more evidence will come out. I've learned that in situations like this, it's best to wait and see how things unfold over a period of time. At the recording of this video, it's been a whole 2 days since people started this, and yeah, total radio silence from Diem's end, across all platforms. Meanwhile, the accusations have just been piling up. More and more creators are either coming out with their own Diem stories or signal boosting the stories of others. Even creators who've had less than friendly interactions with each other prior to the situation are putting differences aside. Most of all, the CEO of Hi-Rez released an official statement in which he said in no uncertain terms that DMBrandon is gone. His in-game content is being removed and disabled, his accounts are being banned, and he has been strongly asked to leave the Smite community and refrain from making content using any Hi-Rez games in the future. The implication here is that Hi-Rez will take legal actions against him if he ignores this request. So, by every observable metric, DMBrandon has been sufficiently canceled. Now, this is usually the part where I go on about how cancel culture is cancer, how people shouldn't have the power to just decimate someone's career and reputation over petty BS and non-issues. But this time it's different. For the first time in a long time, an online community rallied behind someone who has been genuinely harmed and united to get a truly toxic person the fuck up out of here. This wasn't a witch hunt started by decades-old internet posts. Neither was it another online struggle session against someone who dared to simply not have all of the correct opinions. This was some real shit. Now, as someone who is involved in the Smite community, I can say that it has loads of problems. Just like any other gaming community or online community in general, there's plenty of elitism, stupid back and forths, and general behaviors that many would label toxic. I also detest cancel culture in all of its forms. And Diem has reached meme status at this point for how terrible he is. Numerous big names in the Smite community have put him on blast over and over. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. But this is as serious as it's ever been. And the usual step here, after accusations are leveled, is to apply a healthy dose of skepticism. This is the true form of believe victims. Not that liars don't exist, but that accusations should be taken seriously and given the space to be proven or disproven. With that being said, there are at least 7 different women who've come out with accusations at this point, spanning over the course of years and involving different social circles and events. Add to that the accounts of several other creators and community members who vouch for the alleged victims. My point being, unless you really think there's some grand conspiracy to take down God's gift to Smite, the likelihood of these accusations being false is extremely low. I'll definitely be paying close attention, and I'll be making an update video after things develop further. But as it stands, Diem is done. He hasn't shown his face online since before all this started. Maybe he's coming up with a counter strategy, and maybe that strategy involves lawyers. But regardless of that, his time in the Smite community is officially over. For once, the voices of the internet didn't become a bloodthirsty mob, but rather a group of passionate peers united in their efforts to remove a complete dumpster of a person from their ranks as they defend some of the most vulnerable people among them. And this isn't to make them seem like they're weak, because it takes an immense amount of courage to come forth with such information. In some ways, I've been where they've been. I know what it's like to have someone more powerful than you use that power to use and abuse you, and to know that if you expose them, they'll turn that power against you even more. I implore everyone to read the stories of those affected by DMBrandon. Give them your support. Listen to them. They're far more deserving of your time than he is. Over the entirety of his time in the Smite community, he's shown his hand over and over again. And if he's smart, he'll just fold, because this is not a game I see him winning. Thank you all for taking the time to watch and listen. I'm Animane, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.